What's up, you guys? This is Rob from My Gay Guy Plays, and today on #confirmed, we're going to be digging into Devstream 114 for Warframe Tweaks, a City Rework, of course some info on the update of Revenant, and the long-awaited first kind of look at Melee 3.0. So there's a lot of things to cover. Let's just go ahead and jump on in. Now, I wanted to actually start off with some of these smaller tidbits that we did pick up. First and foremost, get your pens and papers ready so that you can mark it off on your calendars, because August 7th, the Alkalites are going to be returning, so you can get your hands on all of those mods you missed, but that's not it, because we also have the Twitch drops returning as well from the Sacrifice event. So for those of you guys who did not know, there were 3 items that are exclusive to the Sacrifice kind of launch. So this is going to be their second wave of that, or like third wave of that, I don't know. It's another wave, so if you missed out on the Starchild Diadem, the Teshin Bust, or the Cherry Tree Glyph, definitely tune in. I will go ahead and leave my Twitch schedule out there for you guys to tune into. I'll be going in that week to make sure that you guys get all of your rewards. So definitely follow me, twitch.tv/agayGuyPlays. The next thing I was actually under NDA for, and I was really excited when they emailed us and they said, yeah, we're gonna end up pushing Frame Fighter out maybe another week or so to go ahead and get some polish. So Frame Fighter is coming, and it's coming very soon. I'm definitely excited about this one because I actually missed it at TennoCon. I was too busy, too running around and scheduled and doing things to actually get a chance to sit down and play the game. So I'll be right there with you. Maybe we'll do that for one of the streams. Now, we're gonna go into something that's coming up very soon, which is the City Rework. Now, let me be honest, I'm not super excited about this, but it does prove to be something very interesting. It's not just going to be a lighting rework. It's not just going to be, you know, some visuals here and there. They're actually going to be playing a lot around with, what is it called? Verticality. They're going to be changing around their tile set just a little bit, and they're going to create these specific maps where you'll have to parkour around in order to get to the places that you want to go, using whether it's zip wires or wall running, etc, etc. That is definitely going to be something that they are introducing. It looks pretty good. Like, visually, I'm like, okay, this is going to be an interesting addition and a nice little polish pass for when Venus comes out. Now, this, of course, I believe is going to come out before Venus. But in addition to that, one of the things that they did mention is that wall running might be making a return. So if you guys are tired of bunny hopping along the walls, they did say that they wanted to return us to like that old shinobi feeling of kind of like dashing across. They had some old issues with it back in the past because of the way that collision would work with certain parts of terrain, but I'm sure DE is going to find a way to work around that. So I'm really excited to see it return. I think it's a great idea. Hope they can make it happen. Now, on to some Warframe tweaks that they were talking about. There was some talk about Titania getting a rework. I think this is more along the lines of a tweak, because they did say that one of the things they're looking into is that Titania's 4 will no longer have collision. So if you're a bad Arcwing pilot, her Razor Wing will no longer deal damage to her if she's bumping around left, right, and center. So you should be fine. Feel safe. Revisit Titania. She's a fucking powerhouse if you've never given her a shot. Moving on to a hot button topic, of course, is Nyx. As you guys know, Revenant is coming out. In fact, they showed him off in the stream, and they were saying, you know, Nyx needs a little bit of loving. So they are actually taking a look at what they can do with her kit right now. They're thinking of moving her Chaos down to her second ability, completely getting rid of Psychic Bolts, and giving Nyx a new 3, more along the lines of a debuff. So I'm definitely excited to see what they can do with Nyx in that aspect. In fact, if you guys haven't already, just mosey on down to the forums. They did ask for some feedback as to what they could do with that, so I'm excited to see what they add in. New abilities always kind of change the game. They also said that they would be tweaking her ultimate ability, so Absorb would be getting a little bit of a tweak. They're going to just change some math on that, not necessarily kind of the mechanic, but they wanted to refresh it in some way, shape, or form. They also mentioned that Mind Control was going to give you a way to kind of boost your Mind Control target damage. So really excited. Now, the next person that they talked about is another CC frame, and that's, of course, Vauban. They also previewed his really cool new deluxe skin that's coming out. I really loved one of the things that I didn't notice on the previous version is that he actually had pistons, like charging up and down on his chest piece, and behind those you can see these little grates, these little energy effects of light. So I can't wait to see it up close and personal, really get some judging on. But they did say that you would be able to charge his Teslas now. So if you hold down the button, you can charge the Tesla so that it'll deal more damage and have a higher status chance. So that way you can kind of CC enemies a little bit better, which in my head I'm like, Vauban's already got so much more CC, give him something else. But that is something that they're looking into, and they're also going to be kind of like going through and touching up the rest of his kit if they find things that fit. So definitely keep that in mind. With Deluxe, we might see you know, a whole new, well, not a whole new Vauban, but a refreshed, relaxed, rejuvenated Vauban. Now alongside Vauban, they actually went ahead and showed off Melee 3.0, and this is the one that we have all been waiting for. So one of the things and the disclaimers that I do want to put ahead of the whole conversation before we even get into it, things like body count and blood rush, things like channeling mods, things like arcanes, any of those kind of a little bit more mechanically complex mods for Melee 3.0, we're not going to be talking about that today. That's not something that they covered in the dev stream, and they specifically said that they would acknowledge it in a dev workshop, and you better believe as soon as that dev workshop drops, I will be reading it for your asses so you know exactly what is going on. Not, you know, not anecdotally, but literally just word for word off of their thing. So keep your eyes out for that video. But those things are not going to be addressed. They don't have the answers for you here. They'll have the answers for you on the dev stream. They just want to show you the basis of it. And basically what Melee 3.0 boils down to is a simplification of the melee system. As much as I love all of the combos, you know, I loved having a combo where I could rush into a group of enemies and do a bunch of like AoE swing attacks, right? I also loved having a combo where I could go ahead and finish an enemy because I knew that there was a finisher at the end of that chain. Unfortunately, there are other groups of players that just spam E because they are incapable of learning combos. Could be you, I don't know. But what I'm saying is they're kind of getting rid of that. So what they showed was two different states. They showed one where you're moving forward and meleeing. They showed another one where you're just kind of standing in the same place and meleeing, and that the movesets would be slightly different if you're moving or if you're just kind of standing in the same spot. They also wanted to go ahead and show off charge attacks, which are now going to be replacing your channeling button. So whatever your channeling button was before is no longer channeling, it's going to be your charge attacks, and supposedly, at least at this point in time, they did say it is going to consume your combo counter in order to deal damage to enemies. So whether that's a big old cleave or like that's a fast melee thing, whatever, that's what your channeling is now going to be. Another thing that they kind of added in, which I thought was really cool, is that blocking, every bullet blocked by your melee is actually going to add to your combo counter to help fuel those charge attacks. So I really like that. That was definitely not something that was in my brain before, but I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Now I know that I can actually go ahead and do some blocking and have that blocking help me offensively, not just defensively. Blocking also does something very interesting, which is another part of the moveset, is if you block and then you attack, what ends up happening is that is actually a gap closer. So now you have your dash behind a block. So you can block and then dash on in with some melee and really get there to do damage to enemies. So we've got the simplification, the moving forward, the standing still. We've got the, what you call it, gap closer. And we've got the channeling attacks. In addition to that, channeling, or not channeling attack, charge attacks. They also showed off a little bit of air melee, which I thought was pretty cool. So if you just do a standard jump attack, you will do the normal ground slam, like you always do. However, if you do a charge attack with your ground slam, instead of instantly like jumping down and hitting the ground, you actually get a kind of like, I guess you would almost call it like a bullet timing moment where you're hovering in air and you can actually change momentum. So if you're going this way, if you're going forward-ish, you can actually go ahead and use your charge attack instead and kind of maneuver yourself down into a different direction, just in case, let's say, an enemy is moving or you find a higher priority target to take down. So that was actually looking very, very fun, but the one thing I was really, really excited about was the fact that, yes, you will be able to combo in air. So you can jump up and just look forward and continue doing your combo. And I love this because I fucking hate drones. I hate drones with a goddamn passion, especially when I'm meleeing. So I'm very, very glad that they're introducing that feature just in case we need to take one down and we miss with the first swing. We can just continuously combo at that enemy. Very happy about that. Now, to go along hand in hand with all of these changes, they actually did make a big statement, and this is something that they've said before, but I feel like we need to like reiterate this and really, really drive this home. Of course, we are also going to have big weapon buffs. So this is their words, this is what they said: radical buffs to weapons and radical buffs to ranges. So I was like, all right, so we've got radical buffs to weapons and radical buffs to ranges. This sounds good. Is it gonna go into scaling? Like, how is that gonna work? But of course that goes into the interaction with mods and yada, 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 and so forth. And that's for the dev workshop day. But I really love the fact that they're doing radical buffs to range as well, because there are certain weapon categories that I just, like, I love daggers, like I love dual daggers, they're really, really fun, but because of the fact that they have like little to no range, I think there's like 2 to 3 meters max on those, and even some of the bigger hammers, you only get like 3 to 5 meters maybe out of them, and it's just not, it's not great for combat. So getting radical buffs really makes me happy when it comes to range, so I can't wait to see how that all plays out. All of the melee that they did on stream did look really satisfying. They said that the effects weren't 100%, the sound wasn't 100% there yet. They really wanted to stress the fact that they're about 50% through with Melee 3.0, so it's not something that you're going to end up seeing next week. It's not ready like some people have been saying, oh, it's almost done. I'm like, it's not almost done. It's like halfway through, not almost done. Liars! All of these goddamn YouTube clickbait liars! But one of the other things that they also chatted about, which I found kind of funny, but also kind of interesting, is they were showing off some animations that they were planning on adding in for what they called the Warframe on Fire mode, or Warframe Fire mode, which was basically like a charged up melee system. And they showed off this animation of this Warframe like unleashing his weapon, and this big kind of like explosion like coming out of it and all of that stuff, and they were laughing and they're like, you know, it's gonna allow you to be more powerful, yada yada yada, and they were saying basically it's like channeling. It's basically melee channeling all over. So they're kind of comparing that as like the Warframe like limit break, or the Warframe kind of like Super Saiyan mode and all of that stuff. To be completely honest with you, with the way that they were addressing it on stream, it seemed very much along the lines of, this is a fresh idea that we just kind of came out with and have not fleshed out whatsoever. So that's definitely the way that I'm gonna kind of pitch it to you guys. It looks cool, it sounds cool, but it also kind of sounds like the melee channeling system. So I think that they're gonna need to flesh that out a little bit more. It'd be cool to see, but we'll see what they can actually do with that concept. Regardless, everything that we've seen so far I think seems really, really interesting. I don't necessarily know if it feels better than what we currently have now, because I am used to what we have now, but I'm open to being convinced otherwise. So I'm gonna definitely be looking forward to that dev workshop to see what they end up doing to those really, really crucial pivotal mods that we've been using in a lot of our builds. So that's about it for the Melee 3.0 portion. The last thing that we wanted to touch on was the fact that they were saying Revenant soon. Now, how soon is soon? Not 100% sure, but from what we saw in the dev stream today, he looks pretty gosh darn close. They've even nailed some synergies for him. So as you guys know, one of the synergies that they had before was with Eidolon Pact, which was basically the armor that he puts on that allows him to stun enemies that hit him. So with that, of course, you can cast your Thrall, which is now the name of the first ability, or Enthrall, and that turns an enemy into a Thrall. So the enemy is now a Thrall and shoots other enemies, and you get to cast Enthrall on an enemy that you've stunned with Eidolon Pact. You get to get that for free, and you do that at no energy cost, which is definitely nice. But they also wanted to introduce a couple other synergies that they're doing with Enthrall. Now, straight out of the gate, for those of you guys who don't know, enemies who are enthralled will fight for you. Enemies that they strike will slowly become, or will become enthralled. So all of these enemies that are enthralled, what you can do is you can use Reaving, which is that mist ability. You turn into a mist and you pass through those enemies. They've actually increased the speed of that, so you can pass through enthralled enemies to grant you more health and more shield restoration than a standard enemy. So you can go and reave through standard enemies and you'll get some, but you'll get more back if you do it through enthralled enemies. In addition, they actually showed off the new animations for the Eidolon Super Laser Spin to Win ability. With the, I didn't remember a name, like Eidolon Laser or whatever. But if you kill enemies that are enthralled, they will actually drop sentient cores. Now, of course, I don't think that these are going to be like sentient cores that you can turn in for loots or anything, but they are sentient cores that will provide you with overshields. Now, I don't know if this was a misunderstanding, but this is something that I heard Scott say. He asked if your allies were able to pick it up, and they said yes, your allies would be able to pick it up. So I'm not sure if he's confirming that those sentient orbs would give your allies overshields as well, but that's the way I'm taking it. So it's cool because now you have this offensive/defensive ability because you're doing laser damage, but you're also being able to restore the shields of anybody who picks up these sentient orbs, including yourself. One thing that they also included in that is the fact that the Eidolon spinning laser of doom would be usable with Reaving. So Reaving, as you know, makes you incorporeal and pushes you through. So you'll actually be able to travel around with that if you have the energy to do so. And I believe it should make you invulnerable while you're doing it. So that's really, really cool. And I can't wait to see more of him. And hopefully more of him very, very soon because, you know, it's been a while since we got a Warframe. I'm excited for it. Regardless, leave all of your feelings down in the comments below, including your feelings on the new space pizzas. We're losing the old Orkin pizza trays and they're upgrading the visuals to them. I think they look really, really snazzy, but they look slightly less pizza-like. I don't know. Do they look more pizza-like, less pizza-like? Toss that in the comments. Are you guys excited about Revenant? How about Frame Fighter? Where is that registering for you guys in excitement level? And of course, from what we've seen so far, without bringing body counts, without bringing blood rush, without bringing any of those mods into question, how are you guys liking Melee 3.0 so far? Does it look cool? Are you guys excited about charge attacks? And are you excited about the fact that DE is going to be giving us different ways for, I guess, our primed armors to like react? Because we're not going to have channeling anymore, and you know the primed armors would always kind of like have cool channeling effects on them. So they said that they're going to figure out something for that and something for arcanes. I think it's going to be a really cool revision. Whether it's going to be great or not kind of remains to be seen, but leave your feelings down in the comments below. And that about does it for me for now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.